Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's a wonderful Easter Sunday afternoon, and in just a few moments, you will hear my thoughts and feelings on episode 5 of the greatest show on TV called Marry Me Now. It's a show that continues to prove that true love means lying to somebody, pressuring them into accepting your marriage proposal, and pressuring them to getting married on the same day. I will say that after seeing this episode, I was somewhat disappointed because things seemed entirely too edited or too fake. But before we jump into things, my end of year goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, if you like my content, and you want to support my platform, then feel free to hit that subscribe button because it helps my channel grow. But without any further delay, let's jump into this review. Episode 5 of Marry Me Now follows the couple Jakya and Terrance. The backstory for this couple is that they initially met in elementary school, also attended both middle and high schools, but never dated during that time period. Then one day out of the blue, Jakya hits Terrance up on Facebook, and that's when Terrance shoots his shot, only to get friend-zoned by Jakya. Terrance then says the devil is a lie, and dared Jakya to meet him in person. Terrance then serenaded Jakya with Keith Sweat's greatest hits, and the rest was history. When Jakya meets up with host Rebecca, we learn that one of the main reasons why Jakya wants to marry Terrance is because of the sacrifice he made to help her out. You see, Jakya was a strong, independent woman before she met Terrance, but when Terrance came into her life, he also spent a great deal of money in investing in Jakya's business. And in Jakya's mind, the best way that she can thank Terrance for his sacrifice and loyalty is to ask him to marry her. Let me repeat myself. Jakya feels that the best way that she could show her appreciation for Terrance's sacrifice is by lying to him, proposing to him, and planning a wedding that he has no input in. To me, that reasoning is not only illogical, but it's selfish. And to all the ladies out there, if we were ever in a relationship and you wanted to show your appreciation for me, then I could think of a ton of things that would be more acceptable than a wedding proposal. Perhaps a trip to Jamaica. How about a free Xbox Game Pass for a year? What about a thoughtful session of sloppy toppy? You get my drift? I think it's worth mentioning that Jakya and Terrance's relationship isn't perfect. But which relationship is? Jakya reveals that she and Terrance tend to argue about him being left out of things. And upon hearing that, my spider senses went off. Because this proposal and plan for marriage is something that Terrance is being left out of. Which makes me think, is this going to cause an argument? Now, in order for Jakya to be successful in deceiving Terrance, she made him think that the two of them were filming a gala for their business. And I have to say that this setup was actually pretty smart and creative, more so than the other setups in previous episodes. Jakya first meets up with her grandmother and mother to break the news. She breaks the news, and both mother and grandmother seem initially shocked, but a few seconds later they were 100% on board, and they only had positive things to say about Jakya's plan. Jakya then meets up with her friend April and drops the news. April seems initially shocked, but seconds later, she's 100% on board with the plan. Same thing happens with Terrance's people. Jakya meets up with Terrance's mother Anita, his brother Barry, and his close friend Charles. Jakya drops the news, and there is zero pushback or questioning of Jakya's plan. Barry and Charles even go on to say that times have changed and they'll be more than happy to support the deceptive event. And it was at this point in the episode where I was completely convinced that all these folks are either paid actors or the show was edited to the point that we as the viewing audience are only allowed to see the positive reactions from friends and family members who learn about the news. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for black love, and I want to see all the couples on the show, as well as any couple in life, succeed and have a healthy, long, and prosperous relationship. But I completely refuse to buy into what the show is selling me for this episode. So we're at the day of the proposal/wedding, and Terrance meets up with Jakya. I can tell right off the bat that Terrance is caught off guard by seeing Jakya in her wedding dress, but she proposes to him, and he agrees to marry her on the same day, no questions asked. Now, Terrance seems to be a nice guy with a good heart and all that stuff. But once again, I refuse to believe that there were no discussions between him and Jakya about at least waiting to have the wedding that they both want. But Terrance and Jakya are at the altar, they say their vows, get married, and the show wastes no time showing the festivities of the event. I will say that this wedding was probably one of the better weddings that the show has put together for the season. The episode then ends, and everyone lives happily ever after. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will rate this episode a solid 3. And let's keep it real. Most people who watch this show watch it for the reactions that the friends, family, and boyfriend give to the girlfriend's plan to propose and marry to the guy in 3 days. And an episode like this completely removes the air from the balloon because it robs the fans of any reaction that was aimed at questioning or pushing back on this concept. Now, whether that was done due to the dodgy editing or whether these folks knew in advance that this was going to happen and they came on TV for the free wedding and the publicity is up for debate. But I'll continue to keep watching the show, and I'll definitely recommend that others do as well. And this marks the end of the review, but I would definitely like to know what you thought about this review or the episode overall. Feel free to leave your comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to each and every one of them. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.